All right. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome. Hey.
Oh man. Gabe, turn your phone off. What you doing?
All right, everybody. Jen Ritchie with Gravity Jack here. We have got guest hosts from Cross Politic. We have the Chocolate Knox and Gabe Wrench here ready to kick it off for us today on this Start Engine launch day.
I'm also here.
Oh my goodness.
You're always here, though.
Oh my goodness.
Don't worry.
I didn't do that. Gabe, this is you.
This is all me.
This
all
is
right.
where you start out. This is what you do your thing at.
So we're streaming. We're actually doing Twitter Spaces. That's where we can go and actually interact with people.
Yes.
So for those who are on Twitter Spaces, raise your hand as we kind of go along. We're also streaming live on Facebook and YouTube with Gravity Jack. So welcome to YouTube and Facebook also. But on Twitter Spaces is where we're really going to invite
It's
people.
called X. Just so you know, that's what it's called.
Twitter/X Spaces.
X.
I mean, he's doing the same thing. I mean, Elon still kind of does it.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, as we go along, raise your hand, and we'd love to bring you guys into this conversation.
I'm actually monitoring YouTube.
Okay.
We're gonna monitor Facebook. Have Carter, why don't you go to the Gravity Jack Facebook and see if there's any questions on there on that live stream, and then we'll look back over there. Also, too, so I got to tell you, so I have a rule on X when it comes to Spaces. All right, I love the interaction. I love for people to ask questions and engage. So this is just me.
Yeah.
But in order to do that, you have to pay the piper. That means you have to have shared the show. You have to have shared it from your account. You don't get to just come in here and just talk freely like everybody hanging out. No.
You got to share the show.
We tax on this side. So right now I'm looking in the room. There's the live folks in here, and I see y'all. Y'all gonna want to talk later because there's some awesome stuff that's going on. I think one of the opportunities investment-wise since Microsoft. That's my take on it. I'm just gonna say
I'm gonna say McDonald's.
Well, okay, we'll go. I'm just gonna name it and claim it. I think it's one of the best opportunities. We'll get to that in just a second. But I gotta say, if you're gonna want to talk and ask questions, you're gonna have to pay the piper, which means you need to share it right now. I don't see nobody sharing it.
So you can actually see if someone shared it.
Yeah. Well, yes, I can see if somebody actually Jen should. So if you shared it, I want you to just wave and say hi. I like it, throw a thumbs up or something like that. But you should go ahead and share this show right now. There we go. I got a like from somebody. Who is that?
That's
Hey,
Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Hey Bonnie,
Sharon.
what's up, Bonnie? I can't read everybody's name. You can see it. Look at
Look at
y'all.
all them sharing.
Look
it.
at these people share. Be like these people. Share this. If you're on YouTube right now, hit the share button, put it on your social media. You won't want people to miss on this opportunity. It's going to be amazing. Just go share it now. You can thank me later. You can send your offering. Well, you can send the offering to y'all.
That's one way to call it. One people
Yes,
call it.
yes. So go ahead and hit that share button. So these people, they get to talk to us later. We
Okay.
keep in track.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead, Gabe.
Oh, so thank you for actually inviting us into y'all's
Yes.
space.
Yeah.
Y'all's safe space here.
And geographically too.
And
Like, but we're
yeah,
in your
and this is
space
actually in our studio.
geographically.
So this is
Yeah.
actually Cross Politics Studios in your
Yeah.
space. Yeah, this is
This
like
is a
Inception.
weird
It's like
Inception.
Inception.
You
Yeah.
gotta learn
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
language. The vernacular is gonna
Time
kill you.
travel.
Seventh level now. Now the exciting thing, you guys have been working for the last 5 months on rolling out an investment opportunity through Gravity Jack in partnership with Start Engine.
Mhm.
You guys are creating a AI AR video game, and you've created the capacity and the ability for people to actually invest in Gravity Jack and what you guys are doing. And then I think what's kind of special about today is you guys are actually, we were able to launch today through Start Engine for people to be able to get in on this investment opportunity. So
Yep.
why don't you actually just back up, to about 5 months ago, why you guys started going this direction, why you guys are opening up this opportunity, why in the name of the video game is War Tribe,
Mhm.
for short, War Tribe. So why don't you kind of maybe just give a quick little 2-minute history on what's going behind what started 5 months ago.
Somebody's
Well,
got their volume up. I'm hearing it
yeah.
from who's got their volume up. Just
Do I
maybe
have my
turn
volume
it.
up?
Maybe you. Could be you.
No,
I don't mind
here.
hearing myself. I think it. No, my volume's down. I think it's Jen. Don't
It's down.
blame.
Was it
Mine's
now?
down.
Oh,
Now they're all down.
it can't be me. I don't make those mistakes. Anyway, you guys were saying
Yeah.
5 months ago. What were we talking about?
The Apple Vision Pro. So we were over in Hong Kong and talking to an engineer that was working on the deployment of that, and he was like, "No, it's definitely getting announced in June." And the game itself and a lot of the mechanics and a whole slew of the components have been in planning for 14 years. So
Okay.
we actually wrote our patents based on some of the game concepts that we had
Oh,
planned.
okay.
And it's just we were just been waiting for hardware. And when we knew for a fact the Apple Vision Pro was like, okay, let's start reapproaching this. And then of course, then we had to look at it from like, okay, where are we at? What actual mechanics do we want to add? And then the whole lore kind of came about at that same point. So
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a video. We did a video for the original game concept years back. One of our daughters is in it, young, like 8th grade freshman in high school. But yeah, so it's been in the
That's
works
funny.
for a minute. Yeah, it's cute.
So today's a big day for you guys.
Huge.
The launch.
Huge.
yeah.
And
Huge,
so, and everybody, this is okay. We'll get to talking about why Start Engine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you guys decide to use Start Engine as a place to launch this from? Because this is pretty important, and it's so weird because we talked about this on the show. You guys start talking about Start Engine like it's yours. You guys are so happy with Start Engine. Why?
Well, there's layers to the why. I mean, one, first and foremost, is really opening it up. And just for re-clarifying to everyone, it is Gravity Jack that we're opening up for
Right,
people
right.
to become shareholders. It's not just War Tribe. Now, we are going to use the vast majority of the funds for the game, but it is our patent portfolio, the 14 years in the making, the revenue from custom executions as well that's on the table. I mean, all our chips are in, and we're opening it up to everyone. And then even the crowdfunding element of it. First of all, crowdfunding, it's SEC. You go through the rigmarole of getting validated and going through compliance and all of the things where your valuation is set. On top of the fact that we have this opportunity through crowdfunding and through Start Engine to reach out to potential, not just investors, but also potential future players as well. Where some of the perks they can have a say in some mechanics. They can have a say in some features. We'll create a private group of said Start Engine investors who can cast a vote on some of the things as we progress through the development.
So go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so about 5 months ago, the Apple hardware, sometime this last year, I found out it was gonna happen. I didn't but anyways, it got released in June.
Announced in
and
June.
announced in June.
Yep.
Yeah, then it's gonna be released next year, right?
Mhm.
January, February, something like that, March, whatever. And so the hardware's actually making it more realistic and more in making the game gonna be the experience gonna be way grander, way better. Are you still gonna be able to play the phone on the game on your phone?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
In fact, that's the primary thing. We just knew there's this transitory period where we want to be one of those first games you play on it.
Yeah.
And when it initially launches, we'll probably just have a preview of the app. The game itself is primarily targeted at mobile, and then as
Okay.
the world starts to transition to glasses,
Mhm.
we'll just be poised and ready to transition the game to it.
And it won't any of the Apple Vision Pro features or fun stuff that happens won't be critical to gameplay.
Mhm.
So for those that don't have them, they will still be able to play the game,
That's-
interact with the game. It's just kind of a little bit of icing on the cake. And historically in AR holistically, we as developers now and into the future, we're always handicapped by hardware. Have
Mm.
been, will be. It's just a thing. And so even the evolution of the mobile devices bringing us
Mm.
up into this point
Yeah.
in time
Mhm.
where we've got LiDAR now, where even just augmented reality in general, people are used to it. They're not just aware of it, but a large majority of people have used AR in some capacity, even if it's just a face filter with reindeer horns or whatever. So the timing on so many fronts is just right now.
Why not, is it and maybe this is just it, but are you guys thinking about like how do we make this more of an interactive world and in a profitable world for the people who want to invest? Because you guys could just go right after investors straight up. Why not? Why do it like this?
Well, there's a number of reasons, some of which Jen pointed out, but venture capitalists, they have a say in your company. They have a say in the direction. They have a say, and they want more say than you actually want to give them as a founder. And we have a very specific vision. It's very long term, and we have these initial steps, but we know exactly where we want to take the company. Like the demarcation of the Apple Vision Pro, we've known it was coming. And I mean, we had a discussion about timeline earlier. I've always been wrong on the timelines, but I have not once been wrong on what and the order of which is coming.
It's
Mm.
true. I'll give them that.
And so when we knew that the Apple Vision Pro is a demarcation of something that's about to happen in the world, where we transition into full augmented reality as your primary consumption source of everything digital. It's got a full field of view. It's got high resolution, and you're not going to be able to tell really is that digital content without taking them off. Like you'll just have this real world you'll be moving through, and like you won't know what's real. Like I could have a fake cup sitting here. It's going to accurately reflect the light. It's going to, you won't, and then you'll try to grab it and you'll, boom. And so this demarcation is this spot. And so we really want our players to be a part of what we're going to be doing. And yeah, when we originally brought the concept to VC, we actually raised a bridge round, and we had a offer from Intel to actually go do this, but the hardware wasn't ready. This was in 2012, and we turned it down. We just knew, hey, timing's off.
Right.
And so we paid back the bridge round and then just kind of waited. So, I mean, we've been waiting a decade just from the last time we thought about launching this.
Right.
Mm.
Right. So let's go back to Start Engine a little bit. Start Engine is a company that allows for basically crowdsourced SEC investment.
Correct.
Is that a good summary?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
I'm getting
that's
better
good.
at this. I think I'm getting better.
Yeah.
And they actually have a number of companies on there. It's kind of a really interesting website where you can look at a number of companies and what the buy-in is and the buy-in for investing. This is distinct from Kickstarter, where Kickstarter you can help fund something, but you get no investment into the company. You might get a T-shirt or
Those
behind the
t-shirts
scenes.
do be swagalicious.
Yeah.
Or behind the scenes.
Pretty dope.
But Start Engine, I mean, you could put for you guys for initial buy-in for War Tribe and Gravity Jack, it's $348, basically, and 88 cents or something like that. $348. But when I, as opposed to Kickstarter, I put in $500. I don't get any equity, but I put in $348 or how many shares I end up buying, and I get equity into Gravity Jack.
Exactly.
Correct.
That's it. It seems like, in one sense, this is kind of a way to get around the whole stock market thing.
It's like it's almost a new version of stock market.
Yeah.
Where you're going direct to the companies, to the people. I feel it's like how the stock market started out however long ago. You know, it was smaller scale. It's the people, it's the company, it's the heartbeat behind it that you're putting into.
And what's neat
That's
about it is
interesting.
you can go after people that aren't accredited. So they kind of locked out the small player for a long time. You had to
Right,
be an
unaccredited investor,
Right.
someone who invests, but they haven't gone through all the
Right.
what is it, SEC accreditations to invest or something.
Yeah,
like that?
for the actual person. But what they do on the back end is they make our process, our due diligence process, pretty stringent. It's almost as stringent as an IPO. So as an unaccredited investor, you can approach the investment knowing, okay, they've gone through a
They got
process
vetted.
that's very like they peek into every corner.
They're
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so Start Engine vets you.
Yep.
Make sure you're a legitimate company. You're launching a legitimate product. You've done your market research. Your books are in order. All that stuff.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so they vet you. So it's a trustworthy, or at least a vetted place
Mhm.
to put your money in, because you're benefiting from Start Engine's vetting
Yeah.
process and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
And I think somewhere around these numbers, they started in 2012 and they've only had 240 companies ish,
yeah.
somewhere around that on their
Uh-huh.
platform.
Oh, interesting.
Right. So when you run those numbers, they are very picky about who they let on, which is appealing also to us, right?
Mhm.
Because Start Engine itself has its array of investors who invest in multiple different things. And so even just us getting in front of them, it's, it's quality. Generally speaking, it's quality that's brought to the surface on there.
And
Oh,
they-
I'm
they-
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying they take a stake in the
Mhm.
actual offering too. So it's
Okay.
They're very interested in picking winners,
Mhm.
people that are going to, create return on investment for them, and then also the investors in Start Engine. It's one of the largest crowdfunded. I mean, it's owned by the group too.
So then, did I see? I think I read the Start Engine has something like they funded $1.7 billion worth of.
Well, they bought a company that added to their
Yes,
portfolio.
Seed
That-
Invest.
yeah,
So they
Seed
had an
Invest.
acquisition of Seed Invest,
Okay,
merged the two together, and yeah.
But
so it's even
this becomes huge though. If you say like, so there are 240 companies that have been funded so far, right?
Yeah.
So then the ish something like that.
Yeah.
But usually, I think in Kickstarter is like thousands of
Right.
thousands
That's
of
what I mean.
So
It
you
co-
can't
yeah.
get seen.
Yeah. Yeah, not just that, but it's like nothing against Kickstarter. It's just different, 100%
Right,
different.
sure.
Right? But you can go on and create an account and boom, post your stuff up in probably 20 minutes. Where
Yeah.
this has been a 5-6 month process.
So
Right.
just the patents alone to invest in Gravity Jack would be worth it if it was just Gravity Jack by itself, hands down, right?
Correct.
And so there's a value there, but then there's also the game that you guys are building that is absolutely next level to me. Can we? I mean, you guys, your audience really knows about this already, but I really kind of I want the other audience that isn't in here normally,
Yeah,
to
there's
be able
new
to hear-
faces.
to be able to hear what they're investing in that you guys are doing.
Go.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll do the high level before we get into the nitty gritty.
Oh, I like the 2 levels. Let's do it.
So it's a mobile app, iOS and Android mobile game that really is intended for global reach. We want the American, the US market hands down, but it really is a lot of interaction and gameplay around global players. So it's a heavy augmented reality focus. The lore behind it is super fantastic. Highly recommend everybody dive into it. But the bad guy in the game is in fact an artificial intelligence. And
Yes,
he is
yes.
from the future.
I'm sorry, I'm
In
like-
2133, where he has wreaked havoc and destruction, and just is wanting and continues to want to destroy the human race. And the Yaman is a good AI, and he is trying to prevent 2133 and the destruction of the human race. So us together as humanity, we are encouraged to join forces to fight this evil AI. In the here and now. And some of the gameplay, like I said, the augmented reality overlay bits that I know Luke will get into in a moment, where you're going to see the future of 2133 overlaid in AR now. So you're getting to see a glimpse into the destruction that Azazel is wanting to wreak on the havoc he's trying to wreak on our planet. And so when we have players or teammates, again, cross globe, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, whatever, Brazil, we are encouraged through advanced gameplay, if you will, or weaponry. So when my teammate is in another country, we get perks for that in fighting off this evil AI within it.
You
and
get
al-
weapons. I
yeah,
like weapons.
Yeah.
weapons and fighting. And then there's different quests within the game too that will be all over the place. There's play to earn or pay to play, parts of the world, and then there's others where they can earn in-app revenue or in-app currency through different quests. So he'll get into the mix up from the lore of how languages got dispersed, but some of the quest in game in a way that we really in the real world now can uplift impoverished areas is they can earn in-game currency through doing various types of quests. And one of them is translations. So if they're in a third world or like fourth, fifth world economy, they can go in, play this game, translate into their current, maybe it's the first chapter of Moby Dick or the Great Gatsby or first chapter of John, whatever it is. And they do a translation that then gets verified. They earn in-game currency that they can extract out into their real world local currency. High level snapshot of what it is.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was
You
just gonna
kinda
say.
covered,
Yeah.
multiple
I
levels.
thought I had more questions, but you explained it really well. But so then this is how do they where do they get the money from? Like if they do a translation of something that I think you might have said earlier, Nike needs a translation for that community, whatever, because they want to open up a store there. And so they use you guys to get how do they get the money in that third world?
Well, backing up a little bit that I left out of there is in that if this particular part of questing and the translation questing, the gamers who do these translations give Gravity Jack an NLP, a natural language processing engine. So another real world functional AI for translations. So there's 7,200 languages in the world. Google, big tech, they nail the top 100 languages. They don't care about the other 7,100. Not a lot of revenue there. Most of the people in the 7,100 speak one of the top 100. So to your question, one, when they do those translations and there's all these methods of verification, we at Gravity Jack receive an NLP, natural language processing engine, and then the gamers earn that in-game revenue that they can extract out into other digital currencies, Bitcoin, whatever. There's going to be a bunch of them in there, and then they can pull it out into their local currency to buy actual needs.
And so you talked about this earlier, but so one of the things that's amazing right now is that pretty much everybody has a cell phone.
94% penetration rate
Interesting.
globally. So villages, doesn't matter, globally, all over the place.
And as soon as I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, one of the many wonderful people we've gotten to talk to in this process said, it may not be every single person in a village in the middle of nowhere has a phone, but there's more than likely at least one phone per family in the villages, right? So they'll pass it around, but they have some sort of access.
I can just see Dad saying, "You playing games tonight, boy? Like, tonight,
He's made some.
you're gonna be just you're making it money, yeah.
Making the family money.
Everybody translates 2 books tonight." Here we go.
Okay,
Just-
when I first started thinking about because you talked to me 3 months ago about this, 4 months ago, something like that. June is May, June or something when we started talking about this. And I started thinking, I was like, investing in a video game. It's not even a company. I mean, we're investing in Gravity Jack, but we're investing in like a video game company like EA Sports or something like that.
Yeah.
It's investing in Gravity Jack, and you guys are building a video game. And I started thinking, I was like, man, I wonder where the ROI is at. I wonder where, I wonder how I can make my money back. Kind of started doing my ROI and I started doing a little more research on the video game industry.
Good.
And then I started, and all of a sudden you start realizing like the video game industry, largely because of phones,
Yeah.
is massive. Not talking about just like Nintendo, which is my era that I grew up in, which is why I had such a truncated view when we first started
There's a
talking.
lot more
right?
than that now, Gabe.
There's I mean, we're on to the Switch. We're on to. I mean, we're way
going.
past the 64.
Atari.
You're scaring me there.
But because of the advent of the smartphone, I mean, video games have just blown up. It's a multi-billion-dollar, almost $1 trillion industry, depending on what all you include in that analysis. And then you again, I think you told me in June that you guys had developed a app, kind of a gaming app for another company, and they're bringing in over $30 million a month.
Yeah, 35.
Yeah.
When we handed it off, we were 9 months into the project.
Yeah.
We handed it off to them, and that was the gross revenue per month, and they almost had no expenses.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said it is a million?
Yeah. Per month.
Okay.
They ended up selling for $500 million to IDT a year later.
So startengine.com. Gravity Jack.
More
Invest
tribe.
button.
More tribe,
Yeah.
So it started to make a lot more sense. My point by describing my thought process and all this, it started to make a lot more sense to me what you guys were pitching.
Yeah.
And why also Start Engine makes sense. To be able to crowdsource a investment project and also be able to bless others who can invest in that company. Is I mean, I love the idea of Start Engine. I love it. I wish I would have invented it. I wish I would have came up with it to be able to help companies like Gravity Jack crowdsource for interesting, unique investments like this. So
you were talking about one level, Jen, but look, you have another level on top of what she was talking about, right? Or should I say a deeper level?
It's pretty deep. Like,
Okay,
I don't know how technical we want to get.
I
on
want a
this
little
one,
bit.
but,
Okay, here while you're thinking about how technical you want to be,
Yeah.
everybody in here that's in this room, if you have shared, go ahead and you want to ask any questions or engage in the dialogue, go ahead and put your hand up. Jen's gonna see you, vet you, make sure you shared everything.
Hit that request button.
And then
Hit
you
that
get
request
ahead
button.
and join in the conversation. Love to have you guys in.
I will say on the investment front, one of the other things, because the ROI was, so we game theoried this whole thing. We didn't just game theory the game itself. We actually game theoried how we're going to run the raise, how we're going to treat investors, because you got real world people. And so we've got this game. So that this is literally inception level of game theory. And we actually wanted to apply, okay, how do we make this the most, beneficial for our shareholders? So we wanted to provide short-term return on investment. We wanted to return long-term return on investment. So the short-term comes by actually doing an automatic monthly dividend. We're doing 10% off game revenue after App Store fees. And then we start applying the other pieces. We do game, maintenance and additions and level adds. And then we're applying 55% down into the natural language processing investment engine that we call it the Yaman Uplift engine. So even though there's this altruism of we're doing pay to play or pay to earn, we're actually uplifting people, we're receiving that value back. So it's actually this 55% is not just altruism. It's actually a long-term investment. And that's the long-term ROI, where we're actually receiving back something from these people. And that's a monopoly on speaking to half the planet. This is something we actually don't even know how to put a number to at this point. We know, hey, we know gaming, we know these other aspects. The value of being able to talk to half the planet and being the only company that can is, I don't know yet.
So I mean, I remember we were talking about this, but I remember when YouTube went up for sale and everybody was trying to figure out what's the value of YouTube, and they couldn't actually put a price on it because the value was so much higher than what you could actually buy. And I feel like we're back in that moment again where, oh man, so you get to reach a third, fifth world country. You get to create, I think I heard you say something like doing something like this in most of these countries where they're translating, that doubles their monthly income.
It's about 40% of the planet. If we can add $60 a month in revenue, which is the average translation that we're actually going to be paying out for a single person, you double their revenue.
Interesting.
So I see we got Chris Adams here. Hey, Chris, you there?
You got to unmute yourself. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, I am. Hey guys, I'm the creative director with Gravity Jack. So, quick disclaimer. I actually wanted Luke to talk about, he was just starting to say a little bit about the AI and the translation, but you were speaking earlier, you guys were talking earlier about ROI and how the gaming market is so huge. But one of the cool things about War Tribe is that it's kind of sitting at a cross section between a number of different markets. But Luke, I wonder if you can kind of speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, if you want to actually put a number to it, it's 1.85 trillion.
But it's T
to the market. Yeah, the market.
What's that? Startengine.com.
Yeah.
Invest.
Because we've got the AI component, so this capacity to speak to half the planet. The long term, we've got the augmented reality component, we've got the gaming component, and technically we have the translation kind of cross section, which isn't the hugest market, but I think it's kind of undervalued at this point because people have kind of settled into this spot of a maximum of 140 languages. So Facebook's recent thing, they have no language left behind. Their idea of no language left behind is adding 40 languages to the top 100, and it's really mostly just dialect. And yeah, so I mean, we're talking all of them.
So why are you guys? It's interesting. Why did you guys decide to use language as a way to invite people to make money in translation? Why that? Why is that something that you guys are like, you know what? There's a whole bunch of people that are unreached and economically there's no way for them to make money. and this is like technology. It's not like a tangible thing outside of the cell phone, and that they can work really at home.
Well, that's the thing, that it's an opportunity for an entirely debatably untapped revenue stream, or even not even a revenue
Oh,
stream,
interesting.
but method of revenue, where yes, we want Gravity Jack and we want War Tribe to be the first out of the gate, but what does that look like in the future? What other things can they earn through this? And part of the language components too, we've met again some fantastic people, and we're going to have a lot of partners throughout this process. We feel strongly lead where we're meant to lead and follow where we're meant to follow. And a lot of those relationships have, educated us on the language elements, good, bad, and otherwise. And also, again, highly recommend everybody to dive into the lore of the game, because it goes into where the good AI Yaman in the land of Pangea dispersed the languages. So then the language and the translations in and of the game, that's why there's quests in game to solve that. So it's like everybody being able to communicate again post that disbursement, on top of the fact that it is a very much a global, we as all of humanity, the goal is not to fight each other. A lot of games are fight each other, win, boom, boom, whatever, teach their own, I guess. But this is more really truly about uniting together holistically across borders, across cultures, across ethnicities, and being a part of this game to fight this evil entity, this evil AI. Like, that's what we should all be doing anyways. Like, let's look for ways that we can be united. And what more fun to be able to do it in game.
I'll just add just like a small, we believe in Jesus Christ. He's the Lord of our lives. And
Amen.
I was going through this like process of how could I get people that don't believe like me to act in a way that I want, which is like altruism. Like, I want to be able to solve world poverty. And so how do you actually get, and most people would, be in on that. They're like, hey, yeah, they want to help poverty. Because I believe, that process of uplifting people economically is just a natural, should be what the church is working on anyways, this aspect of giving and generosity, but you can't get people to act that way over the long term. I could get them to give once and get them to motivate them once. But this is the way. So that's what we're just sitting there thinking, how do you get them to act this way? How do we
encourage
everyone? That's game theory.
Uplift.
So it's like, this is how we apply it, because we still give them something back.
You talked a little bit about, I want to talk a little bit about game theory, but I really want to talk about the game, because that's part of what's really exciting. So let's just say that the game is out. I go download it from my app. Do I need some sort of Google Goggles?
Not right now. Just your phone.
Just your phone.
iOS
Okay, all right.
and Android.
All right. So I got the game. I turn on the game. Walk me through. I'm here. I'm ready for it. Bring me to it. Just walk me through this whole theater of the mind thing. I'm ready.
You start up.
Okay.
And you have to renounce Azazel.
I renounce Azazel.
Yeah, the evil AI.
Yes, I renounce him in all his ways.
Yes.
No more Azazel. Not for me.
Then you have to join the Binyamin. So you have to actually, because the Yaman is conscripting from our timeline, from the future, to take back the future, so we can actually, like, this, what we do here.
The Yaman. I thought you were like saying, yeah, man.
It's a derivative. My Jamaican roots. And from there you take back your home. So the first thing you do is like you remove what Azazel's done to your geographic space at your own house. And then you create what's a special Omni energy source there. And that's your home Omni energy source. This is like your base of operations, your base of strength, where everything comes from. And then you start taking back other geographic locations. We're using another AI that is actually destroying the current world and the maps that we have of it, and accurately geo-overlaying that onto the planet. So
you didn't have to do a whole lot of work for Portland, did you? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's already good.
Azazel,
took that early.
There's a lot of jokes there. Talk about Chicago too. Okay, but so you start at your house. You have energy source there.
Yep.
And then as you move about, you start, how do you take a place? How do you take
you take it with other people? So it's like,
that's the unity.
Yeah, that's the unity piece. So I walk into the park, and this is a place we want to start owning. And so the more areas you get in an area, the stronger that becomes. And then ultimately, somehow we got to get it to Antarctica, because really I just want to know what's up there. And
Oh, I see what you're doing.
yeah.
All right, Christopher
So,
Columbus.
yeah, we all got to get up there. We have to take it back because
It's Jesus.
well, that's exactly. And that's where the Azazel's got his servers in 2133. So that's like the end battle is going to be for Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe I should be
Okay.
giving that
Oh,
away.
I see
Chris
what's
might be
going
like,
on here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've had.
Little
So I
C.S. Lewis right there.
don't know what y'all paid Chris, but y'all might have give him a raise because he was on point. Anybody else have any other questions for Luke and Jen about this? Because I have more questions, and then we're gonna. Oh, Chris, he's got his hand back up. His
Yeah, I
mic
think
is
this-
muted though.
Hey, I actually had it up before you asked that question. It was regarding your question about gameplay. One thing that's really important to know is that in terms of gameplay, which is really fun, some people like games where you fight things, and that's going to be in this game. There are these creatures that come out of portals, and you actually will fight them using AR on your phone. You'll see them as if they're really in the room with you. Another, and some people don't like fighting. Some people like collecting and creating things in games. And so you'll be able to do that in your home base, and you'll actually be able to create and craft abilities for other players and sell them in the marketplace. There are a lot of different kind of puzzles and concepts in the game. So whatever kind of gamer you are, you'll find something you enjoy doing in this game as far as gameplay goes.
Wow, that's awesome. I see we have another request. Who is that?
Was it
I
Bonnie?
didn't see-
Was it Bonnie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bonnie's on there. I think she's waiting. Bonnie, go ahead. Can you hear us? There we go.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I am on your start engine right now and looking at everything, and I am under the rewards thing. What is the difference between the different pricings and things? Like the first one is $348 and the second one is $348. And so what is the difference between them?
There's one time based and one.
So there's different perks on there. The minimum buy-in is still that $348.88. There are different perks this is actually one of the other benefits of Start Engine, just as a business that we found very valuable. So if you purchase shares in the first 72 hours, you will get 2% bonus shares. So 2% of whatever you purchase just goes on automatically. And then there's other tiers in there where you'll get a 5% bonus share, 10%. There's time-based perks, and then also amount-based perks. So those are the difference there on what those mean, Bonnie. And hey, girl.
So hey, girl.
I see y'all know each other. Okay.
Yes. It was a wonderful time, at Oral Roberts University where we all met. But that first one, I guess the first one is time-based. Is that what you're saying? Because it says earn 10% bonus shares, but it's over a period of billed annually. That's what I was wondering between the two that are both 348.
So I'm not 100% sure if this is the exact same thing, only because I can't see the screen you're looking at.
I'm trying to pull it up for you right now.
Start Engine itself offers what they call owners. I believe it's called Owner's Circle or Owner's Bonus. That is outside of Gravity Jack. So
Is that the one right there? Here we go.
Yes.
10%.
So the 10% bonus shares for 340. I'm so glad you asked this, Bonnie. So that is actually something that Start Engine does. That's not Gravity Jack. If you do that, that's interesting. They do 348, makes it confusing for everybody. But that is, if you do the 348 bonus shares under Start Engine, other companies on Start Engine that offer this level perk, you will get 10%. But let's just say Cross Politics goes on Start Engine, and you already bought with Gravity Jack, and then you choose to buy shares in Cross Politics, you would get 10% bonus shares on them if they're a part of that ecosystem as well. So Inner Circle, that's where it starts with. That's Gravity Jack.
I got you.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked that.
So in
They
summary,
call it owner's bonus holder.
that you do pay a fee to be a member.
I didn't
Yeah.
understand that owner's bonus holder, and
Yeah.
then it says you can join now for $275, billed annually, and I was like,
Yeah, that
okay,
is super
what's that?
confusing. Yeah, the $275 is the reoccurring annual for Start Engine. You absolutely do not have to do that.
So if I want to go just jump on directly for Gravity Jack, skip the first part,
Correct.
jump right to the second 348 and invest there.
Correct.
This is such a low level to get in on something that has so much huge potential.
That was the whole goal. Like we want as
Make it
many
easy.
shareholders. Like we want our whole gamer base. We want people that actually believe in the project.
Mhm.
It only goes up to 50K.
You can do.
You can do
definitely
more.
do more.
We put you in contact. Anybody who wants to go over that, reach out to us directly, and we put you in touch with a liaison through Start Engine, because you then do a wire, and instead of doing any kind of credit card fee.
I don't know how this works. Bonnie, is there anything else? I don't want to take your time away.
No, I'm good. I just want to know the difference between those
Yeah.
two. Thanks.
Fantastic question.
Go ahead and pick that 50,000K option, Bonnie. I'm really mad at you. Okay, anybody else want to jump in real quick? I think there's 2 requests. I don't see anybody on YouTube. They haven't jumped in yet for ask any questions. I think they're just enjoying what's happening there. This would really be fun. Is there a way to talk about? We talked about kind of like churches and missions and stuff like that. Is that something that I need to talk about? Or is that something that you guys could talk about with how awesome this is?
I think, the opportunities there and ways that it can be used, the churches and the missions, and that's what places and areas that they can make revenue in so many
Let's
ways.
break that down real quick, and
Yeah.
and you guys jump in there and tell me like if I get this wrong, because the way I'm looking at this is, let's say that you're having Bible verses translated, right?
Mhm.
Well, we know a guy. Well, some of our people here, they have been working for 30 years to try and get a Bible in the language vernacular of the people that are there in other countries, right? And 30 years to do that, and they're just now getting just the New Testament, right? And so how can this be something that cuts that time frame down so that you're getting these people and this language that are moving faster? It doesn't take 30 years to get translated, right? You're smiling. So
I just love this.
yeah. And so I'm on the right path. It doesn't
Totally.
take 30 years to get translated. And so you're almost like seeding the ground, right? To come in and have a lot more productive work done by a person on the ground after you already have all this language barriers that are being demolished, right? That's one of the hardest problems, is being able to communicate with each other.
Mhm.
And so we spend so much money on missions. This seems like and those missions don't directly reproduce the financial income from doing them, right?
Mhm.
And so people have to go out, work, give more, and that's fine. But this is an opportunity, if you have a budget in missions, to go ahead and say, hey, how do we invest in something like this that creates economy for the people that are there in these third or fifth world countries, right? And then they get to build, they get to learn the scriptures, and now we've advanced the gospel for those ungospel people just by being here and investing in you guys. This just seems like this is a no. Am I tripping, or is this like a
No.
no-brainer for me?
Well,
You
it's the-
nailed it. but
and it's the timing
yeah,
too.
I was
The
gonna say.
timing of the ability to take devices into these places. It's the timing of artificial intelligence to the level that they're presently at.
That's right.
It's the fact that 94% penetration. It's ubiquitous. People use these. It's not going to be crazy unheard of when somebody, a mission group or whomever, comes in with a phone and says, "Hey, let's earn some. You can earn money."
Wow.
in this
Somebody else would have
capacity."
come up with this. We just
It's a matter of time.
Nobody else is doing this though, right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I
So-
mean, it's just, but it's like AR. We knew it was coming because it had to. Like you just see these pieces that are going to come. So yeah, I'm always wrong
Yeah.
on the timeline, but it's like it has to occur.
Yeah,
And this has to occur.
because
And
the
so we just-
technology is getting there.
Yep.
You can start to see the footprint, the
And
blueprint.
because we're in
Totally.
this space where we are really steeped in AI and gaming and AR, we're like, it's a no brainer.
Trifecta.
Yeah, we're ahead of the game, but somebody else would have been like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
perfect.
So you're combining AI, AR, gaming. That's all places that Gravity Jack's either been heavily involved in or been innovative in or owns patents in.
Yep.
But fundamentally, what you're creating is War Tribe, a video game, and then there's all these. I wouldn't even say like extracurricular benefits. There's all these, other very connected benefits like in language translation and so forth. But fundamentally, what you're doing is you're creating a video game called War Tribe,
Mhm.
and then the value of, or the innovation of AR, the innovation of AI is helping you do all these other things kind of along with it. Is that
And
And,
next leveling some of those
keep
things.
keep it simple, stupid for me kind of thing. It's a
Well-
video game with all these benefits.
And one of those benefits is the potential to systemically and generationally eliminate poverty and bring the liberty of even the word of God into these people's lives. And like, what does that look like? And this is a model that people have already shown when you bring this, when you bring this to a people group and you really work on it, like at least for 30 years, it works. It's a natural end result.
I want to hit on the poverty thing real quick, because there's a lot of people who overpromise and underdeliver and are selling their humanitarian efforts to get more funding. And so there's a real problem with that pitch. And I'm not saying your pitch, but that pitch that people use. But the thing I like about what I think is distinguishing that pitch with you guys is, I don't know if you guys ever read the book When Helping Hurts. There's another, Toxic Charity is another one. I serve as a deacon at my church, and so these are some of the books that we've had on our.
Just talk about this.
Yeah. And basically the church is, it studies and research has shown that the church has probably done more damage trying to relieve poverty, either in their own cities in America or third world countries, because what they've done is they just throw money at it.
Yeah, that's right.
This is productivity.
And it's toxic charity. What you guys are doing, you guys are providing actually a
work.
Potential. Yeah, exactly.
Work.
Which is actually how.
Of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then you get verified, and 4 other people, like when you're the translator, 4 other people are verifying whether you're a verifier, and there's a reward mechanism for that whole verification system. So whatever you're doing in that process, like you're doing something, you're actually, you're providing value back. Yeah. This is not charity. Yeah. That's the beautiful, even though it is. Yeah. Like this is the cool part about it. Like because we're adding
it's
the
charity in the sense that, like, because
opportunity.
It's opportunity. Exactly. Well, and it's also like one of the things I think Christians have gotten their eye off the ball, and we've talked about this tons on our show, is we've stopped owning businesses. We've stopped being an entrepreneur. We've stopped. And if we got friends, you guys got friends, you guys own a business, and you provide for, let's say, 100 employees. That's 100 families. That's, let's say they got 2 children each. The ripple effects of you being able to provide jobs and opportunity, good paying jobs is massive, and it's massive for the church. And then to be able to, Lord willing, develop this app in such a way where translators can make money off it in these other, third, fourth world countries. Excuse me. Is massive. And but when you give people work, you're humanizing them. When you the whole
that's real humanism.
That's you really humanize them. God gave Adam work, that he was, men were created for work, and the church has actually dehumanized the poor when they just think throwing money at them is the solution, and it makes things worse. Our government's a prime example of this when on welfare and all that stuff. And you go to liberal cities in Seattle and San Francisco and so forth, where they've just been throwing money at the poor, and it's just only creating a bigger drug population and so forth. So actually being able to provide ways for people to work in, through apps, through video games in other countries, it's a very interesting concept. But I said, we talked about this earlier. When people come into our studio with big ideas, I'm like, show me how you're going to land that, right? We had a friend come in the studio and was talking about how he wanted to compete with Google, and I was like, well, you need to land that,
right?
Kind of thing.
Me too. I want to compete with Google too.
So maybe kind of flesh it out a little bit, put a little meat on the bones here. What does it look like to get this investment through Start Engine, and then to be able to land this into reality? What's y'all's track record? What's how are you gonna land this puppy?
So for those that don't know, we've been around since 2009, founded on the basis of AR. So we've chatted it and thrown it around a couple times with patents. We have a beautiful patent portfolio around augmented reality that is getting active licenses as we speak from many different brands, continued, and that's just going to continue, which as
come on, preach it now.
As new shareholders in Gravity Jack, you will partake in that piece as well as these licenses come in. But over the years, we have created projects with, some, our video kind of touches on this. We've done stuff with Department of Defense. We've done stuff with Samsung, Oreo, Mondelez, Kraft. We've done apps for 35 countries, localizing in 17 or 18 different languages. Obviously iOS and Android experts. We've done stuff on
hundreds of literally hundreds of apps.
And we've done stuff on Microsoft HoloLens, which is an AR headset, the Epson headset. We've worked with obviously Oculus and Vive on the VR side of things. And so, as we talked earlier, we've had this game and these concepts in mind for so long with the hardware, and the people weren't ready for those yet. But all along,
Well, technology wasn't.
the
not just
hardware
people.
wasn't
The
ready.
hardware. Yeah.
And the user's desire to utilize those technologies. And we've been creating these really awesome experiences all along the years. And it's like, it's time. It's time that Gravity Jack, that we do our own. So from a capabilities, and even on the AI side of things, some of the stuff in that Department of Defense, we leveraged AI, machine learning algorithms we would use computer vision to look at detonated IED components, cross-referencing it against multiple databases. It's still actively used now. It's no longer classified. So there's some AI that we did there. We had an ML engine
before TensorFlow.
Yeah, we did
before
stuff.
Google was into release TensorFlow. We were doing AI, combining it with AR and computer vision. So this isn't like
you guys have already landed the plane a couple times.
A couple times.
Yeah.
It's like touch and goes.
Yeah.
And now we're like, we're ready for it to be ours.
Now it's our plane.
So here's what we want people to do. We want people to go to startengine.com
Mm-hmm.
and
You can type Gravity Jack in the search
type
bar.
Gravity Jack in the search bar and hit invest. Hit invest, and it's so easy to create an account. I did it while you guys were talking earlier. I
You
just
already
did it.
created account? I haven't had time yet
I did.
today.
Push the
it
button.
didn't- yeah,
Push the button, invest now. Live on it. I'll just
You don't know this. I got it. I might have, okay.
He's in
But
there.
you can get in at $348.
Yeah.
Like that's huge. And I wish when Google was starting out and they were like, we're going to just do emails for free for people. I wish I would have invested $348.
In,
You know
in,
what I mean?
in, Google.
Yeah, actually, I wish I would have
Yeah.
invested a lot
If
more.
you would have done that in McDonald's,
Right.
oh my goodness.
But this is the kind of thing that my kids, they're working in the summer. I'm like, what do you want to do with your money? You're 15 years old. Here's something you can invest in, and watch it work for you. And so it's such a low level to get involved. I don't know. You guys should just absolutely blow up. So go hit invest. And some of y'all can take that 50. I feel like a charismatic preacher right now.
Some of y'all take that
Yeah,
50,000.
the Lord is telling me there's 11 people out there right now that can hit that $50,000 button with ease, and the Lord is going to bless you double time. All right.
So I think was it there's Bitcoin Pizza Day. You guys have heard the story behind Bitcoin
Yeah.
Pizza Day?
Yep.
Bitcoin Pizza Day was the first Bitcoin transaction where
Oh,
someone
yeah,
bought
yeah.
pizza.
Yeah, with
And
wasn't
with
it
10,000 bitcoins
yeah.
for 2 pizzas.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It's now worth
most
like $30
expensive
million.
pizza
That's some expensive pizza.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most expensive pizza.
$30 million now. It's crazy. But
Before we end, is there
Yeah.
anything else that people need to know that maybe we didn't cover
Yeah.
that's really exciting that's at the top of you guys' head?
The main thing I would say is follow along with us. We really want to be transparent, which is why we're doing the X Spaces and Facebook Lives and everything. Tell people about it. We're here. We want to answer the questions that you have. If you have the question, somebody else probably has it too. So stick with us, follow along, share it out, and hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday. We are shifting our X Spaces moving forward to Tuesdays at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. So I do want to
Tuesdays.
call that
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And then go to Start Engine.
Mm.
Add us
Yeah.
to your watch list.
That's
if,
right.
If you're not ready to push the button now, create an account, add
Push
us
the
to your watch
button.
list.
I follow you
Push the
guys
button.
hardcore on X, and we're friends. So I try not to bug you with all my future tech questions,
I
but
love
you guys are my go-to. Like if this is
Yeah.
something new in tech, you guys see it all. You guys see it all. It's not just one area, and so I really trust you guys in this. And so you guys are my go-to. I think everybody else needs to make you their go-to when it comes to things that
Please.
what's
Yeah.
the future look like? What do I need to be thinking about? I think we're so narrow, that we are afraid. We are afraid of AI. We're afraid of gaming. We're afraid of all these things, and we haven't exercised the muscle to engage them. And you guys have been doing this for so long. If you're responsible and you love the Lord, there's nothing to be afraid of. Take this stuff
Yeah.
over.
Don't
Exactly.
fear.
Don't give it to people who don't
Yeah.
love Jesus, and you don't have an AI that hates you.
Yeah.
Right.
That wants to kill us, the Terminator.
Yeah, that's
Although
exactly right.
we are building one that kind of hates us too.
Write a code in the back. Okay, I'm not gonna have it back. Wait, let's not talk about that. All right, so thank you guys so much for allowing us to be a part of this and for hosting this.
Yeah.
It was really an honor, and I want to do one with you guys on my X and talk more
Anytime.
tech stuff with you
Yep.
guys. Awesome.
Important.
Thank you guys.